For 30 years, I poured my heart into raising my son James. I worked long hours as a cleaner, skipped meals to save money, and gave up my dreams just to see him smile. I nursed him through fevers, paid for his college, and even sold my mother's old ring to cover his first car. But the day I came home and told him I lost my job at the hotel, his face turned cold. He didn't ask if I was okay or what happened. Instead, he yelled, "You're useless now, Mom. Get out." Those words hit like a knife. I stood there, suitcase in hand, tears burning my eyes, wondering how the boy I loved so much could call me a burden. What James didn't know was that I had a secret. A fortune left to me by my late boss, Mrs. Thompson, who saw me as family. I never told anyone, not even James, because I wanted to surprise him with a better life. But now, as I walked out of the house I paid for, I decided it was time to stop hiding. I wasn't going to let my own son break me. If you want to hear more stories like this, subscribe to our channel, BraveHer Voices, for real tales of strength and truth. I wiped my tears and headed to the bus stop, my mind racing. How did it come to this? James wasn't always so harsh. As a kid, he'd hug me tight after my night shifts, promising he'd make me proud. But when he met his wife Laura, everything changed. Laura came from a fancy family. Her dad was a lawyer, her mom a doctor. They never liked me, always saw me as beneath them. Laura filled James's head with ideas that I was holding him back, that my lowly job embarrassed them. I thought coming home after losing my job would bring us closer, maybe give me a chance to help with their new baby on the way. I was wrong. When I got to their house that evening, I barely sat down before James started. "You quit your job?" he snapped, his voice loud enough to make Laura's mom, Diane, glance over from the couch. "That was $6,000 a month, Mom. What are we supposed to do now?" I tried to explain. "I didn't quit, James. The hotel shut down. I came back to help you and Laura, especially with the baby coming." Laura laughed, a sharp, mean sound. "Help? You're a cleaner, Linda. What do you know about babies?" Diane chimed in, her voice dripping with scorn. "Childcare is a science, dear. You need training, not just good intentions." I felt my face burn, but I held my tongue. I'd dealt with their snobbery before. Years ago, when James started dating Laura, I moved to a smaller apartment to save money for their wedding. I worked extra shifts, even cleaned houses on weekends, just to give them a good start. They promised to take care of me one day, but now they acted like I was a stranger. I took a deep breath and said, "I thought I could stay here, help out, maybe rest a little. I'm 60, James." Laura rolled her eyes. "Rest? You don't have savings or a pension. You expect us to pay for you." James jumped in, his voice harder. "You should have planned better, Mom. We're starting a family. We need that money you were bringing in." I stared at him, my heart breaking. Did he really see me as just a paycheck? I wanted to tell him about the fortune, $10 million Mrs. Thompson left me in her will, but something stopped me. Maybe it was the way they looked at me, like I was nothing. I stood up, grabbed my suitcase and said, "Fine. I'll go." Diane smirked. "Good. There's a senior home nearby. They're hiring kitchen staff. You could work there, earn your keep." My hands shook as I gripped the suitcase handle. Work there? After everything I'd done? I raised James alone after his dad left us when he was 5. I worked 3 jobs to keep him fed, put him through school, even paid off their house. And now they wanted me to scrub dishes to earn my keep? I walked out without another word, their voices fading behind me. Laura shouted, "Don't come back unless you're bringing money." I didn't look back. The cold night air hit my face as I stepped onto the street, my mind spinning. I wasn't just hurt. I was angry. Angry at James for forgetting who I was. Angry at myself for letting them walk all over me. But deep down, I felt a spark of something new. I wasn't done yet. Mrs. Thompson's fortune was my secret weapon, and I was going to use it. Not to beg for their love, but to take back my life. I checked into a small motel that night, my savings barely covering the room. As I lay on the stiff bed, I thought about Mrs. Thompson. She was a widow with no kids, and I'd worked for her for 15 years. She always said I was like a daughter to her. When she passed, her lawyer called me saying she left me everything, her savings, stocks, even a hidden trust fund. I hadn't touched it yet, still processing the shock. But now, with James's words ringing in my ears, I knew it was time. The next morning, I called Mrs. Thompson's lawyer, Mr. Carter. "Linda," he said, his voice calm. "The trust is secure. $10 million, all yours. What do you want to do?" I took a deep breath. "I want to start over. Find me a house, something big, something they'd never expect." He chuckled. "I know just the place." That afternoon, he sent me listings for luxury homes in the city's richest neighborhood. One caught my eye, a sprawling villa with a garden and a view of the lake. It was perfect. I scheduled a viewing, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. Could I really do this? Live for myself after all these years? As I walked into the real estate office, a young agent named Emily greeted me. She didn't know my story, didn't know I was a cleaner turned millionaire. She just saw a woman ready to buy. "This villa's one of a kind," she said, showing me photos. "It's $4 million, but worth every penny." I nodded, feeling a rush. This was my first step. But as I signed the papers to tour the house, my phone buzzed. It was a text from James. "Where are you? We need to talk." I stared at the screen, my stomach twisting. What did he want now? Was he sorry, or was this another trick? I didn't reply. Instead, I turned off my phone and followed Emily to the car. Whatever James wanted, it could wait. I was done being his doormat. If you're loving this story of courage and comeback, hit that subscribe button on BraveHer Voices for more real stories that inspire. I took a deep breath as Emily drove me toward the luxury villa. The city blurred past the car window, but my mind was stuck on James's text. "We need to talk." His words echoed, pulling me back to the hurt of last night. I could still see his face, twisted with anger, calling me useless. My chest tightened, but I pushed the thought away. I wasn't that woman anymore, the one who'd beg for his approval. I'd given him everything, 30 years of my life, my savings, my heart, and he threw it all away. Now, with Mrs. Thompson's fortune, I had a chance to start over. I wasn't sure what that looked like yet, but this villa was a start. Emily's voice snapped me out of my thoughts. "We're almost there, Linda. You're gonna love this place." She smiled, unaware of the storm inside me. I nodded, forcing a small smile. The car pulled into a gated neighborhood, where huge houses sat behind perfect lawns. It felt like another world, one I'd only seen while cleaning other people's homes. The villa was even grander than the photos. A white mansion with tall windows, a stone path, and roses climbing the walls. My heart raced. Could this really be mine? Emily led me inside, her heels clicking on the marble floor. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, and a view of the lake, she said. I barely heard her. I was picturing myself here, free from James's cruel words, free from Laura's sneers. But as we toured the kitchen, my phone buzzed again. Another text from James. "Mom, I'm serious. Where are you? Laura's upset." I froze. Upset? After they kicked me out? I wanted to laugh, but it hurt too much. I turned off my phone again and followed Emily to the backyard. The lake sparkled under the sun, and for a moment, I felt peace. "What do you think?" Emily asked. I looked at her, my voice steady. "I want it." She raised her eyebrows, surprised. "Great. Let's talk numbers with the seller." As we sat in her office later, signing papers, I felt a weight lift. This was real. I was buying a $4 million home with my own money. But the joy was short-lived. That evening, back at the motel, I got a call from my old friend Sarah. "Linda, you need to see this," she said, her voice shaky. "James is posting about you online." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" I asked. Sarah sighed. "He's on social media, saying you abandoned him and Laura, that you're selfish and ran off with money you owed them. People are eating it up." I felt sick. James was lying to the world, painting me as the villain. I opened my laptop and found his posts on X. There he was sitting in our old living room, talking to his followers. "My mom left us high and dry," he said, his voice heavy with fake sadness. "She lost her job and just walked out. We're struggling now." The comments were brutal. What a terrible mother. She should be ashamed. I wanted to scream. How could he twist the truth like this? I'd paid for that house, every brick, every bill. I raised him alone, worked my hands raw, and now he was dragging my name through the mud. Sarah's voice came through the phone again. Linda, you can't let him do this. Fight back. I clenched my fists. She was right. I wasn't going to let James rewrite my story. But how? Then it hit me. Mrs. Thompson's lawyer, Mr. Carter, had mentioned something about the trust fund. It wasn't just money. There were documents, proof of my sacrifices. I called him right away. Mr. Carter, I need everything you have on the trust, I said. And anything else Mrs. Thompson left me. He paused, then said, There's more than just money, Linda. She left a letter for you. I'll bring it tomorrow. I hung up, my mind racing. A letter? What could it say? That night, I barely slept. I kept seeing James's face, his lies spreading online. By morning, Mr. Carter arrived at the motel with a thick envelope. Inside was the trust paperwork and a handwritten letter from Mrs. Thompson. My hands shook as I read it. Linda, it began. You were my rock, my family. I know you gave up everything for your son. This money is for you to live, not just survive. Be strong. Tears fell on the page. Mrs. Thompson knew me better than my own son. Her words lit a fire in me. I wasn't just going to buy a house. I was going to take back my life. I called Sarah back. I'm going to fight, I said. Can you help me set up an X account? She laughed. About time, Linda. Let's tell your side. We spent hours crafting my first post. I didn't mention the fortune yet. That was my secret weapon. Instead, I wrote, My son says I abandoned him. He kicked me out when I lost my job. I raised him alone, paid for his house, and this is how he thanks me. I hit post, my heart pounding. Within minutes, comments poured in. Some doubted me, but others said, Tell us more. By the next day, my post had thousands of likes. People were sharing it, asking questions. James hadn't expected this. His next post was defensive, claiming I was lying for attention. But I wasn't done. I met Emily again to finalize the villa purchase. As we signed the last papers, she said, You seem different, Linda. Stronger. I smiled. I'm just getting started. That evening, I got another text from James. Stop lying online, Mom. You're embarrassing us. I didn't reply. Instead, I planned my next move. Mrs. Thompson's letter mentioned a storage unit she'd left me, filled with things she thought I'd need. I called Mr. Carter to get the key. Whatever was in there, I had a feeling it would change everything. As I headed to the storage unit the next morning, my phone buzzed with notifications. My followers on X were growing, and people were taking my side. For the first time in years, I felt seen. But James wasn't going to stop, and neither was I. This was my story now, and I was ready to tell it. The storage unit was in a quiet part of town, tucked behind a row of warehouses. I stood in front of the rusted metal door, clutching the key Mr. Carter gave me. My heart pounded. Not just from nerves but from a strange hope. Mrs. Thompson's letter had already shaken me, and now I wondered what else she'd left behind. I turned the key, and the door creaked open, revealing boxes stacked high, a small desk, and a dusty lamp. It felt like stepping into her world again. I could almost hear her voice, kind but firm, telling me to stand tall. I started opening boxes, finding old photos, books, and jewelry she'd worn at fancy dinners I'd helped her host. Then at the bottom of one box, I found a leather-bound journal. My name was written on the cover in her neat handwriting. I sat on the cold floor, my hands trembling, and opened it. Inside were pages of her thoughts about me. Linda is stronger than she knows, one entry read. She gives too much to that son of hers. I hope one day she sees her own worth. My eyes stung. Mrs. Thompson saw me when no one else did, not even James. I kept reading, and my breath caught when I found an entry about a safe deposit box. She'd left me something else, something she called a key to your freedom. I called Mr. Carter right away. There's a safe deposit box? I asked. He sounded surprised. Yes, at First National Bank. I forgot to mention it. It's in your name. I'll get you access tomorrow. I thanked him and hung up, my mind spinning. What was in that box? I wanted to go right then, but the bank was closed. Instead, I drove back to the motel, the journal tucked safely in my bag. That night, I checked X again. My post was still gaining traction with thousands of comments. People shared their own stories of betrayal, saying I was brave for speaking out. But James had posted again, a video this time. I clicked play, bracing myself. He sat in his kitchen, Laura beside him, looking smug. My mom's spreading lies, he said. She never paid for this house. She was just a cleaner living off us. My blood boiled. Living off them? I'd worked my fingers to the bone for that house for him. I typed a reply, my fingers shaking. I paid every cent for that house, James. You know the truth. I hit post, and within minutes, people were calling him out. Show proof. One comment read, "Your mom sounds like a hero." I felt a spark of pride, but it didn't last. Laura replied to my post, "Linda, stop this drama. You're too old for this." Too old. I was 60, not dead. Her words lit a fire in me. I wasn't just fighting for my name now. I was fighting for every woman who'd been called too old or useless. The next morning, I went to the bank with Mr. Carter. He handed me the key to the safe deposit box, and we walked into the vault. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a small velvet bag and a folded note. I opened the note first. "Linda," it read, "these are my mother's diamonds. Sell them, keep them, whatever you choose. They're yours like your future." I tipped the bag, and 3 sparkling stones fell into my palm. My heart skipped. These weren't just diamonds. They were worth a fortune. I looked at Mr. Carter, who smiled. "Those could fetch $2 million easy," he said. I felt dizzy. Mrs. Thompson had given me more than money. She'd given me power. I tucked the diamonds and note into my bag, my resolve hardening. James and Laura thought they could erase me, but they were wrong. Back at the motel, I met Sarah for coffee. She'd been my rock, checking in every day. "You're trending, Linda," she said, showing me her phone. My posts were everywhere, and people were sharing hashtags like #JusticeForLinda. I laughed for the first time in days. "I didn't expect this," I admitted. Sarah squeezed my hand. "You're giving people hope. Keep going." I nodded, but my mind was on the diamonds. I didn't want to sell them yet. They felt like a piece of Mrs. Thompson. Instead, I decided to use some of the trust money to move into the villa. Emily called that afternoon to confirm the sale was final. "You're officially a homeowner," she said. I smiled, picturing James's face when he found out. But that evening my phone rang. It was Laura's mom, Diane. "Linda, this has gone too far," she snapped. "Your little online stunt is hurting James's business. Stop it or we'll sue." I laughed, surprising myself. "Sue me? Go ahead, Diane. I'm not scared." She hung up, and I felt a rush of strength. I wasn't the same Linda who'd left their house in tears. The next day, I moved into the villa. The movers carried my few belongings inside, and Emily stopped by with a bottle of wine. "To new beginnings," she said, raising a glass. I clinked mine against hers, but my mind was elsewhere. James's lies were spreading, and Diane's threat lingered. I knew they wouldn't stop. That night, I posted on X again. "My son says I never paid for his house. I have receipts, bank statements, everything. Should I share them?" The response was instant. "Yes. Show the truth." I smiled, knowing I had the proof in my old files. But as I dug through my boxes, I found something else. A letter from James's dad, Tom, written years ago. My heart stopped as I read it. "Linda, I'm not James's father. You know the truth. I'm sorry I left." I sat back, stunned. James wasn't Tom's son. I'd always known, but I'd kept it secret to protect him. I adopted James when he was a baby, after his real mother, my cousin, passed away. I never told him, hoping it wouldn't matter. But now, with his lies tearing me apart, I wondered if it was time to tell the world. I stared at the letter, my hands shaking. Should I tell James? Or use it to fight back? Either way, I wasn't backing down. I sat in the villa's quiet living room, the letter from Tom trembling in my hands. The words stared back at me. "I'm not James's father." I'd buried that truth for 30 years, carrying it like a heavy stone. I adopted James when he was just a baby, his tiny hands gripping my finger as I promised to love him like my own. I never told him about his real mother, my cousin Anna, who died too young. I thought love would be enough, that he'd never need to know. But now, with his lies spreading on X, calling me a deadbeat, I felt the weight of that secret. Should I tell him? Would it hurt him more or finally make him see me? I set the letter down and walked to the window. The lake outside shimmered, calm and steady, unlike the storm in my chest. I'd moved into this villa to start over, to claim the life Mrs. Thompson wanted for me. But James's betrayal clung to me like damp clothes. His latest post was worse. My mom's lying about paying for our house, he wrote. She's always been selfish, taking credit for our hard work. The comments tore into me. What a fraud. Kick her out for good. I wanted to scream. I had the bank statements, the mortgage papers, proof I'd paid for every nail in that house. But would it matter? People believed James's story because he was young, charming, with Laura smiling beside him. I was just an old cleaner, easy to dismiss. I called Sarah, my voice shaking. They're winning, Sarah. People think I'm the bad guy. She didn't hesitate. Then show them the truth, Linda. Post the receipts. I nodded, though she couldn't see me. She was right. I dug through my boxes again, finding the file with the house papers. Every payment, every late-night shift I worked to cover the mortgage, it was all there. I took photos and posted them on X. My son says I didn't pay for his house. Here's the proof. I worked 30 years for him. My hands shook as I hit send. Within hours, the post exploded. People shared it saying, "This is disgusting. Your son should be ashamed." I felt a flicker of hope, but it didn't last. That night Laura called. "You're pathetic, Linda," she spat. "Posting old papers to get attention? We're done with you." I gripped the phone, my voice steady. "You're done with me? I gave you everything, Laura. That house, your fancy life, it's because of me." She laughed, cold and sharp. "Keep dreaming, old lady. No one believes you." She hung up, and I sat there stunned. Old lady. The words stung, but they also woke something in me. I wasn't just fighting for my name now. I was fighting for every woman who'd been pushed aside, called useless, forgotten. The next morning, I went to see Mr. Carter. I needed to know more about the safe deposit box, the diamonds, anything that could help me stand taller. He met me at his office, a stack of papers in hand. "Linda, there's something else," he said. "Mrs. Thompson left you shares in her company. They're worth $3 million. My jaw dropped. Shares? I'd cleaned her house, not run her business. "Why me?" I asked. He smiled. "She trusted you. Said you had a good heart." I walked out, my head spinning. $3 million more? I could sell those shares, add to the fortune, build a life I'd never dreamed of. But as I drove back to the villa, my phone buzzed with a new ex-post from James. This time, it was a video of him and Laura at a fancy dinner, laughing like nothing was wrong. "Thanks for the support, everyone," he said. "We're moving on from my mom's drama." The comments cheered him on, and my heart sank. They were painting me as the villain, and people were buying it. I wanted to give up, to disappear into my new villa and forget them. But then I thought of Mrs. Thompson's journal, her words about my strength. I wasn't done. I posted again. "My son says he's moving on. But he's living in my house, lying about my life. I won't stay quiet." The response was huge. Thousands of likes, shares, even messages from strangers saying I inspired them. One message stood out. A woman named Karen, who said she'd been kicked out by her own kids. "Keep fighting, Linda," she wrote. "You're not alone." Her words hit me hard. I wasn't alone. That night, I sat down with Sarah to plan my next move. "You need to go bigger," she said. "Tell your whole story live on X." My stomach twisted. A live video? I'd never done that. What if they laugh at me? I asked. Sarah squeezed my hand. "They won't. They'll see the real you." I agreed, but I needed something more. I called Mr. Carter again about the safe deposit box. He said there was one last thing, a video Mrs. Thompson recorded for me. My heart raced. A video? I drove to his office the next day, and he played it on his laptop. Mrs. Thompson's face filled the screen, older but warm. "Linda," she said, "if you're watching this, I'm gone. But I left you everything because you deserve it. Don't let anyone take your spirit. Not your son, not his wife. live for you. Tears streamed down my face. She knew. Somehow, she knew this would happen. I thanked Mr. Carter and left, clutching the USB with the video. I was ready to go live, to show the world who I was. As I prepared for the live stream, my phone buzzed again. It was James. Mom, stop this now or you'll regret it. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. Regret it? I'd spent my life regretting I didn't stand up sooner. This time, I wasn't backing down. I sat in my villa's living room, the USB with Mrs. Thompson's video in my hand. Her words echoed in my mind. Don't let anyone take your spirit. I felt stronger, but James's latest text, stop this now, or you'll regret it, sent a chill through me. What did he mean? Was he planning something worse? I pushed the fear aside. I'd spent too long being afraid, shrinking myself to make him happy. Tonight, I was going live on X to tell my truth, no matter what he did. Sarah came over to help me set up. She brought a ring light and showed me how to use the live stream feature. Just be you, Linda, she said. Speak from the heart. I nodded, but my stomach was in knots. What if no one watched? Or worse, what if they believed James's lies? I took a deep breath and hit the live button. The screen showed my face, tired but determined, with the villa's lake view behind me. Hi everyone, I started, my voice shaky. I'm Linda, the woman James calls a liar. I raised him alone, paid for his house, gave him everything. And when I lost my job, he kicked me out. My voice broke, but I kept going. I'm not here to beg for pity. I'm here to tell you I'm not what he says. I held up the mortgage papers, showing the camera. This is proof I paid for his house. The comments flooded in. We believe you. Keep going, Linda. My heart lifted. People were listening. I talked for 20 minutes, sharing how I worked 3 jobs, how James changed after meeting Laura, how her family treated me like dirt. I didn't mention the fortune or the adoption yet. Those were my cards to play later. When I ended the stream, 10,000 people had watched, and my followers doubled. Sarah hugged me. You did it, Linda. I smiled, but I felt raw, like I'd peeled back my skin for the world to see. The next morning, I woke to a flood of messages. Strangers sent support, sharing their own stories of being pushed aside by family. One message stopped me cold. It was from a man named Mike, claiming to be Anna's brother, James's real mother. Linda, I saw your live, he wrote. I think James is my nephew. Can we talk? My heart raced. Anna's brother? I hadn't seen him since her funeral, 30 years ago. He'd moved away and I'd lost touch. I called him right away. His voice was soft, heavy with guilt. I didn't know you adopted James, he said. Anna never told me she had a son. I want to meet him. I froze. Meet him? James didn't even know he was adopted. Telling him now could break him. Or worse, make him hate me more. Let me think about it, I said, hanging up. My mind was a mess. Should I tell James the truth? Or keep it buried? That afternoon, Emily stopped by the villa with a housewarming gift, a small plant. You're trending, Linda, she said, grinning. People are calling you a hero. I laughed, but it felt hollow. A hero? I was just a mom trying to survive. I showed her the villa, and she gasped at the view. This place is you, she said. Strong and beautiful. Her words warmed me, but my phone buzzed, ruining the moment. It was Diane, Laura's mom, again. Linda, you're ruining James's life, she hissed. His business is tanking because of your lies. Stop or we'll make you. I didn't flinch. I'm not lying, Diane. And I'm not stopping. I hung up, my hands shaking. Make me? What could they do? I found out soon enough. That evening, James posted another video. This time, he held up a photo of me from years ago, looking tired and worn. This is my mom, he said. She's not some victim. She's manipulative, trying to ruin me for attention. Laura nodded beside him, fake tears in her eyes. The comments were brutal. She's jealous of your success. Cut her off. I felt sick, but then I saw a new comment. Linda, show us more proof. It was from Karen, the woman who'd messaged me before. She was right, I had more. I posted the bank statements from Mrs. Thompson's trust, showing $10 million in my name. I didn't say it was mine, just wrote. This is what I've been hiding. Not for greed, but for my future. The internet went wild. People demanded to know more, and James's followers started questioning him. I knew he'd hit back, but I was ready. The next day, I met Mike at a coffee shop. He looked older, but his eyes were Anna's, kind, like James's used to be. I want to help, he said. James deserves to know his roots. I sighed. He's not the boy I raised anymore. He's angry, Mike. What if the truth makes it worse? Mike leaned forward. He's still family. Let me try. I didn't agree yet, but I gave him James's number. That night, I got a call from Mr. Carter. Linda, there's a problem, he said. James's lawyer contacted me. They're claiming you forged the mortgage papers. My heart sank. Forged? I'd spent years paying that house off, and now they were twisting it again. What do I do? I asked. He was calm. We fight. I have all the documents. They don't have a case. I thanked him, but fear crept in. James wasn't just fighting online. He was coming for me legally. I lay awake that night, Mrs. Thompson's journal beside me. Her words, Mike's offer, James's threats, they swirled in my head. I wasn't just fighting for my name now. I was fighting for my truth, for the life I deserved. But what would James do next? I woke up to the sound of the lake lapping against the shore outside my villa. But my mind was far from peaceful. James's threat to claim I forged the mortgage papers felt like a punch I couldn't dodge. I'd spent years paying for that house, every cent scraped from long shifts and missed meals. Now he was trying to erase that truth, just like he'd erased me from his life. I sat at the kitchen counter, Mrs. Thompson's journal open in front of me, her words about my strength feeling distant. Could I really keep fighting? My phone buzzed with a new message from Mike. I called James, he wrote. He didn't believe me about Anna. Said I'm a scam artist working with you. My heart sank. James wasn't just rejecting me. He was rejecting his own roots. I wanted to call Mike back, to tell him to try again, but something stopped me. James didn't deserve the truth yet, not when he was dragging my name through the mud. I checked X instead, and my stomach twisted. James had posted another video, this time with Laura's mom, Diane, beside him. My mother's been lying about everything, he said, holding up a bank statement that looked doctored. She never paid for our house. She's after sympathy. Diane nodded, her voice icy. Linda's always been unstable. We're taking legal action to protect our family. The comments were a mix. Some believed them, others called for more proof from me. I felt the walls closing in. They were building a case, not just online but in court. I called Mr. Carter right away. They're saying I forged the papers, I said, my voice shaking. He was calm as always. They're bluffing, Linda. I have the originals, time-stamped, notarized. They can't touch you. His words steadied me, but only a little. I wasn't just fighting for the house. I was fighting for my life, my story. I decided to post again, this time with a photo of the original mortgage contract, my signature clear as day. This is the truth, I wrote. I paid for my son's house. He can't change that. The post took off, with thousands of shares. People were rallying behind me, using hashtag #TruthForLinda. Karen, the woman who'd messaged me before, commented, "You're an inspiration, Linda. Don't let them win." Her words lit a spark in me. I wasn't alone anymore. That afternoon, Sarah came over with lunch and a plan. "You need to go live again," she said, setting a sandwich in front of me. "Show them Mrs. Thompson's video. Let her tell the world who you are." I hesitated. The video felt so personal, like a private gift from Mrs. Thompson. But Sarah was right, it was time. I spent the day preparing, rehearsing what I'd say. My hands shook as I thought about James watching, Laura sneering, Diane plotting. But I also thought about the people supporting me, strangers who saw my heart. That evening, I went live on X again. The villa's warm lights glowed behind me as I spoke. "I'm Linda." I started, my voice stronger this time. "My son says I'm a liar, but someone believed in me." I played Mrs. Thompson's video, her kind face filling the screen. "Linda deserves this," she said. "Don't let anyone take your spirit." When the video ended, I looked at the camera, tears in my eyes. I'm not fighting for pity. I'm fighting for my truth. The comments exploded. We love you, Linda. You're so strong. I ended the stream with 20,000 viewers, my heart pounding. For the first time, I felt like I was winning. But the victory was short-lived. The next morning, I got a call from Emily, the real estate agent. Linda, someone's been asking about your villa, she said. They wanted to know who bought it. I didn't say anything, but it felt weird. My stomach dropped. Was it James? Laura? I thanked her and hung up, my mind racing. They were digging, trying to find out how I could afford this place. I hadn't told anyone about the $10 million or the diamonds, but I knew they'd figure it out eventually. I called Mr. Carter again. They're snooping around my new house, I said. He sighed. They're desperate, Linda. But the trust is ironclad. They can't touch it. His words helped, but I felt exposed. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. We know you're hiding money. Give it up, or we'll expose you. My hands shook. Expose me? For what? I didn't reply, but I saved the message. I needed to be ready. The next day, I met Karen at a cafe. She'd driven 2 hours to see me, her eyes kind but tired. My kids did the same to me, she said. Kicked me out when I couldn't work anymore. Your story gave me hope. We talked for hours, and I realized my fight wasn't just for me. It was for her, for every woman pushed aside. I hugged her goodbye, feeling stronger. As I drove home, my phone buzzed again. It was Mike. James called me back, he said. He wants to meet. But he's angry, Linda. Be careful. I gripped the steering wheel, my heart racing. A meeting with James? After everything? I wasn't sure I was ready, but I knew one thing. I wasn't the same woman he'd kicked out. Whatever he was planning, I'd face it head on. I stared at Mike's message, my heart pounding. James wanted to meet? After months of lies, betrayal, and threats, the idea of facing him felt like walking into a storm. I sat on the villa's balcony, the lake stretching out before me, its calm mocking the chaos inside. Mrs. Thompson's words from her video played in my head. Don't let anyone take your spirit. I'd fought so hard to reclaim my life, but the thought of seeing James's cold eyes again made my stomach twist. Mike called later that day, his voice careful. He sounded desperate, Linda. Said he wants to fix things. I told him to meet me at a diner tomorrow, but I think you should be there. I hesitated. What if it's a trap? He's been lying about me online. Mike sighed. Maybe. But if he's really your son, there's still a chance to reach him. His words hit hard. Was James still my son? The boy I'd rocked to sleep, who'd drawn me pictures, felt like a ghost now. I agreed to go but said I'd stay out of sight. I wasn't ready to face him yet. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept picturing James at the diner, his face hard like the day he kicked me out. I opened Mrs. Thompson's journal, hoping for strength. One line stood out. Linda, your heart is your power, but don't let it blind you. Was I blind to hope James could change? The next morning, I drove to the diner, parking across the street. Mike was already there, sitting by the window. James walked in minutes later, his shoulders slumped, no sign of Laura or Diane. I watched from my car, my heart racing. James looked tired, older than his 30 years. Mike waved him over, and they talked. I couldn't hear them, but James's face twisted, like he was angry or confused. After 20 minutes, he stormed out, slamming the door. I called Mike right away. What happened? I asked. He sounded heavy. I told him about Anna, that you adopted him. He didn't believe me. Said you're manipulating everyone, even me. My chest tightened. I'd known this might happen, but it still hurt. Did he say anything else? I asked. Mike paused. He's in trouble, Linda. His business is failing, and Laura's threatening to leave him. He thinks you're hiding money that could save him. I laughed bitterly. Save him? After everything? I thanked Mike and drove home, my mind a mess. James knew he was adopted now, but instead of understanding my sacrifice, he saw me as a bank. That evening I checked X. James had posted a new video, his voice shaking. My mom's been lying my whole life, he said. She's not even my real mom. She adopted me and never told me. The comments were brutal. She's a fraud. How could she hide that? But others defended me. Adoption is love, James. She raised you. I wanted to scream. I'd kept the secret to protect him, not to hurt him. I posted a reply. I adopted James because I loved him. I gave him everything. He can't rewrite that. The post went viral, with thousands of shares. People were splitting. Some called me a liar, others a hero. I felt exposed, like my life was a book torn open for the world. Sarah came over that night, her face worried. This is getting big, Linda. You need to be careful. I nodded, but my mind was on the diner. James's tired eyes haunted me. Was he hurting, or just playing the victim? I didn't know anymore. The next day, I got a call from Mr. Carter. James's lawyer sent a demand, he said. They want access to your trust fund, claiming you owe them for emotional damages. I laughed, but it was hollow. Emotional damages? They kicked me out. Mr. Carter was firm. They have no case, Linda. The trust is yours. But they're desperate. I hung up, my hands shaking. Desperate people were dangerous. I decided to check the storage unit again, hoping for more from Mrs. Thompson. I found another box, this one with old letters from her to me. One said, Linda, your family. If James ever forgets that, remind him. Tears fell as I read it. She'd known this might happen. I took the letters home, feeling her strength in me. That afternoon, Emily called. Someone's been snooping around your villa again, she said. They asked neighbors about you. My heart raced. Was it James? Diane? I thanked her and checked my security cameras. Sure enough, a man I didn't recognize had been near my gate, taking photos. I felt violated, like my new life wasn't mine anymore. I posted on X. Someone's watching my house. I won't be scared off. I've fought too hard. The support poured in, but so did the hate. One comment stood out. Give James the money or this gets worse. My blood ran cold. Who was this? I saved the comment and called Mr. Carter, who promised to look into it. That night, I sat with Sarah, planning my next live stream. You need to show them you're not afraid, she said. I nodded, but fear was creeping in. James wasn't just fighting online, he was coming for my life. As I prepared for the stream, my phone buzzed. It was Mike again. James wants to meet you now, he said. He's coming to the villa tomorrow. My heart stopped. Tomorrow? I wasn't ready, but I knew I had to face him. Whatever he wanted, I'd stand my ground. The morning sun spilled through the villa's windows, but I barely noticed. James was coming today. My hands shook as I made coffee, the weight of Mike's call pressing on me. He's coming to the villa, he'd said. I hadn't seen James since he kicked me out, his voice cold, calling me useless. Now he knew he was adopted, knew about the house payments, and still thought I owed him. I wanted to believe he'd apologize, but deep down, I braced for a fight. I stood on the balcony, staring at the lake, trying to steady my nerves. Mrs. Thompson's journal lay open on the table, her words like a lifeline. Remind him you're family. But was James still family? I'd raised him, loved him, sacrificed everything. Yet he'd turned on me. My phone buzzed with a message from Sarah. You got this, Linda. Stay strong. I smiled faintly. She'd been my rock, pushing me to fight back. I checked X before James arrived. My last post about someone snooping around my villa had thousands of shares. People were angry for me. Protect Linda. She deserves peace. But there were hate comments too. Give James the money, liar. Each one stung, but I focused on the support. I wasn't alone anymore. Around noon, a car pulled up. It was James alone, no Laura or Diane. My heart raced as I watched him walk to the gate, his face tight. I buzzed him in, my hands clammy. He stepped into the living room, looking around at the marble floors and high ceilings. Nice place, Mom, he said, his voice sharp. Where'd you get the money? I took a deep breath, keeping my voice calm. I earned it, James. Just like I earned the house you live in. He scoffed, pacing. You're still on that? I came to talk, not fight. I stared at him, searching for the boy I raised. Then talk, I said. He sat, running a hand through his hair. I know I'm adopted, he said, his voice low. Why didn't you tell me? My throat tightened. I wanted you to feel like my son, not someone I took in. I loved you, James. His eyes flickered but then hardened. Love. You're sitting on millions, Mom, while Laura and I struggle. My business is dying. You could help us. I felt a stab of pain. Help them? After everything? You kicked me out, I said, my voice shaking. Called me useless. And now you want my money. He stood angry. You hid the truth. You're not even my real mom. Those words cut deep, but I held my ground. I raised you. That's real enough. He glared, then softened, his voice cracking. Laura's leaving me. I've got nothing left. Please, Mom. For a moment, I saw the boy who'd clung to me after nightmares. But then I remembered his lies, the threats, the doctored bank statements. I gave you everything once, I said. Not this time. He left without another word, slamming the door. I sank onto the couch, tears falling. Had I been too hard? Or not hard enough? That evening, Sarah came over. You did the right thing, she said, hugging me. He can't keep using you. I nodded, but my heart ached. I wanted to save him, but not at my expense. The next day, I got a call from Mr. Carter. James's lawyer dropped the case, he said. They had no evidence. You're clear. Relief washed over me, but it was bittersweet. James wasn't fighting legally anymore, but he wasn't giving up. I checked X and saw his new post. My mom's hoarding money while I lose everything. She's no mother. The comments were vicious, but my supporters fought back. Linda's a hero. James, tell the truth. I decided to go live again. I set up the ring light, my hands steady this time. I'm Linda. I began, looking into the camera. My son came to my house today, asking for money. I said no, not because I don't love him, but because I love myself too. I showed Mrs. Thompson's letter, reading her words about my strength. This woman believed in me, I said. And I'm believing in myself now. The stream hit 30,000 viewers, with comments flooding in. You're amazing, Linda. Don't give in. I ended the stream feeling lighter, like I'd shed a weight. But that night, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You'll pay for this. My heart stopped. Was it James? Diane? Someone else? I called Mr. Carter, who promised to trace it. The next morning, Karen, the woman who'd met me at the cafe, messaged again. Linda, I'm starting a group for women like us, she wrote. We're calling it BraveHearts. Join us. I smiled, tears in my eyes. I wasn't just fighting for me. I was fighting for them. That afternoon, I went to the storage unit again, needing Mrs. Thompson's strength. I found a photo of us together, her arm around me, smiling. I took it home, setting it on my mantle. It felt like she was still here, cheering me on. As I sat in my villa that night, my phone buzzed again. It was Mike. James is spiraling, he said. He's posting crazy stuff online, saying he'll ruin you. I gripped the phone, fear mixing with resolve. James wasn't done, but neither was I. Whatever came next, I was ready. I sat in the villa's quiet living room, the photo of Mrs. Thompson and me on the mantle, her smile steadying my shaking hands. Mike's warning about James spiraling kept me up all night. He's posting crazy stuff, saying he'll ruin you, he'd said. I checked X, and there it was, a new video from James, his face red, eyes wild. My mom's a fraud, he shouted. She's got millions, and she's letting me lose everything. Laura sat beside him, nodding, her lips tight. The comments were a war zone. Some called me greedy, others begged James to stop. My heart pounded, but I felt a fire growing inside. I wasn't the scared woman he'd kicked out anymore. I'd fought too hard, and I wasn't letting him tear me down. I called Sarah, my voice steady. He's losing it, Sarah. What do I do? She didn't hesitate. Go live again, Linda. Show the world you're not afraid. I nodded, knowing she was right. But before I could plan, my phone buzzed with a message from Karen. Brave Hearts is growing, she wrote. Women are sharing their stories because of you. Come to our meeting tomorrow. My chest warmed. These women, strangers, saw me as a beacon. I wasn't just fighting James, I was fighting for them. That morning, I drove to the Brave Hearts meeting at a small community center. Karen greeted me with a hug, her eyes bright. You're our hero, she said. I met women like me, mothers, grandmothers, pushed aside by their families. One, Mary, told me how her daughter sold her house and left her homeless. Your story gave me courage, she said. I cried, feeling their pain as my own. I promised to join their group, to keep fighting. Back home, I prepared for my live stream. I set up the ring light, Mrs. Thompson's photo beside me. I went live, my voice clear. I'm Linda, I said. My son says I'm a fraud, but I'm a mother who gave everything. I adopted him, raised him, paid for his life. Now he's angry because I'm living for me. I held up Mrs. Thompson's letter reading, Linda, your heart is your power. I looked at the camera, tears falling. I'm not hiding anymore. This is my truth. The stream hit 40,000 viewers, comments flooding in. We love you, Linda. You're so strong. I ended it feeling alive, like I'd reclaimed a piece of myself. But the high didn't last. That evening, Mr. Carter called. Linda, James's lawyer sent a new letter, he said. They're accusing you of stealing the trust fund. I laughed, but it was bitter. Stealing? It's mine, he agreed. They're grasping at straws. We'll counter it. I hung up, my mind racing. James wasn't just fighting online. He was trying to take everything. I checked X and saw his latest post. My mom stole millions from her boss. I'm exposing her. My stomach dropped. He was twisting Mrs. Thompson's gift into a crime. I posted a reply. The money was left to me legally. I have proof. I attached a screenshot of the trust document, blurred for privacy. The internet exploded, with hashtag #TruthForLinda trending again. But then my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You can't hide forever. We know where you live. My heart stopped. I checked my security cameras and saw a car parked outside my gate last night. The same one Emily had warned me about. Fear gripped me, but I called Mr. Carter, who promised to get a restraining order. The next day, I met Mike at the coffee shop. He looked worn, his eyes heavy. James is falling apart, he said. Laura left him. His business is gone. He's obsessed with you. I sighed. I wanted to save him, Mike. But he's destroying himself. Mike nodded. Let me talk to him again. Maybe he'll listen. I doubted it, but I gave him a chance. That afternoon, Sarah came over with a surprise, a stack of letters from BraveHer's women, thanking me for my courage. One read, Linda, you showed me I'm worth fighting for. I cried, clutching the letters. They gave me strength, but I couldn't shake the fear. Someone was watching me, and James's lies were getting darker. That night, I got a call from Emily. Linda, the villa's security company caught someone trying to break in, she said. They didn't get in, but they ran off. My blood ran cold. Was it James? Or someone he'd sent? I called the police, who promised to patrol the area. I barely slept, jumping at every sound. The next morning, I found a note slipped under my door. Give up the money, or you'll lose more than a house. My hands shook as I called Mr. Carter. This is serious, he said. We're filing charges. I sat in my villa, the note in my hand, Mrs. Thompson's photo watching over me. James wasn't just my son anymore, he was a threat. But I wasn't backing down. I'd fought too far to lose now. I clutched the threatening note, its words. Give up the money or you'll lose more than a house. Burning in my mind. The villa, once my sanctuary, felt like a target. I sat by the window, staring at the lake, Mrs. Thompson's photo on the table beside me. Her smile reminded me why I was fighting, not just for me, but for every woman like Karen and Mary, who'd been cast aside. James had pushed me too far, and I wasn't the scared mother he'd kicked out anymore. I called Mr. Carter, my voice firm. File the charges, I said. Whoever sent this note, I want them found. He agreed, promising to work with the police. I checked my security cameras again, but the car that had lingered outside was gone. Fear lingered, but so did my resolve. I wasn't giving up. That morning, Sarah came over, her face tight with worry. Linda, this is getting dangerous, she said. You need to stay safe. I nodded, but my mind was on James. His latest ex-post was a rant, claiming I'd ruined his life, stolen his future. The comments were vicious, but hashtag #TruthForLinda was stronger, with thousands rallying behind me. I decided to go live one last time, to end this war. I set up the ring light, Mrs. Thompson's journal open for strength. When I went live, 50,000 people tuned in. I'm Linda, I said, my voice steady. My son says I stole from him. But I gave him everything. My love, my money, my life. I adopted him, raised him alone, paid for his house. Now he's threatening me, but I'm not afraid. I held up the note, showing its words. This is what I'm facing. But I'm still here, fighting for my truth. I read from Mrs. Thompson's letter. Her words about my heart being my power. I'm not fighting for hate, I said, tears falling. I'm fighting for love, for myself, for every woman told she's not enough. The comments exploded. You're our hero, Linda. Don't give up. I ended the stream, my heart full. I'd laid everything bare, and the world had listened. That afternoon, Mr. Carter called with news. The police traced the note, he said. It was Laura's cousin hired by Diane. They're being questioned now. My jaw dropped. Diane? I'd known she was cruel. But this? What about James? I asked. Mr. Carter sighed. He claims he didn't know, but he's in trouble too. His business is bankrupt and Laura's gone. I felt a pang of sadness. James had lost everything, just like he'd tried to make me lose. I didn't hate him, but I couldn't save him anymore. The next day, I met Karen and the BraveHer's women at their community center. They greeted me with hugs, their stories filling the room. You gave us a voice, Karen said, handing me a handmade card signed by the group. I cried, reading their words of gratitude. I wasn't just Linda, the cleaner turned millionaire. I was Linda, the woman who stood up. That evening, Mike called. James wants to see you, he said. He's at my place, broken. No cameras, no lies. I hesitated. Could I face him again? But something in me said yes. I drove to Mike's small apartment, my heart heavy. James sat on the couch, his face pale, eyes red. He looked like the boy I'd raised, but older, worn. Mom, he said, his voice cracking. I'm sorry. I stayed quiet, waiting. I was wrong, he went on. About the house, the money, everything. I was scared and Laura pushed me. I didn't know about the note. I wanted to believe him, but trust was gone. You hurt me, James, I said. You called me useless, lied to the world. Why should I believe you now? He cried, head in his hands. I've got nothing left. I just want my mom. My heart broke, but I wasn't the same Linda. I love you, I said. But I can't fix this. You need to fix yourself. I left, tears streaming down my face. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, but it was right. Back at the villa, I sat with Sarah, telling her everything. You're free now, she said, squeezing my hand. I nodded, feeling the truth of it. I'd fought for my life, my worth, and I'd won. The next week, the police charged Diane and her cousin with harassment. James posted a Final X video, admitting his lies, apologizing to me. It didn't erase the pain, but it closed a chapter. I sold Mrs. Thompson's diamonds, using the money to fund BraveHer's, helping women like me rebuild. I kept the villa my haven and started a new life, surrounded by friends like Karen and Sarah. If you're moved by this story of heart and triumph, subscribe to BraveHer Voices for more stories that inspire. As I stood on my balcony, the lake glowing under the moon, I thought of Mrs. Thompson. She'd given me more than money, she'd given me myself. The moral of my story was clear. Love others, but never lose yourself. I was Linda, 60 years old, and for the first time, I was living for me. It wasn't too late.